I hope your week is off to a great start. Welcome aboard the news review segment on the AM show. Of course, I'm Sweetie Abochi, and sitting in for Benjamin Akakpo today is...
yours truly.
Mine truly.
Yeah, Samuel
Kojo Brace, right. We'll be steering the conversations together.
Your chairman.
My chairman,
If it doesn't come there, Charlie, you won't pay you.
Right. But those who join us for the conversation this morning, George Ayisi is former Director of Communications at NADMO. And we also have former Member of Parliament for Bilston North, Timothy Awontrim. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I want to start with a familiar face so that we can usher you in slowly. Usually we give our guests a minute or two to reflect on any topical issue that they want to share thoughts on. Mr. Ayisi, let me start with you. What's on your mind?
Yeah, thank you. Good morning to you. Good morning to my brother, Kojo. Good morning to our viewers and your production crew. What's on my mind is the YEA, Deputy Chief Executive, a young guy, I've forgotten his name, Tudor or Adongo. He's Adongo. Unfortunately, there are problems, challenges allowing him to access his office as Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Youth Employment Agency. And it's worrying. He's physically challenged. You know, he's a blind person. He's been working in the system. And His Excellency the President thought it prudent to appoint him as Deputy CEO. But there are people challenging and, in fact, stopping him physically from accessing his office.
I'm aware there are two different appointments.
So
that's the confusion.
Yeah, okay. No, what if the president wants... Yes, he is saying his appointment is not being revoked. And so if the president doesn't want him to act as Deputy Chief Executive, there should be a letter from Mahama, not the president, the executive, Dr. Callistus Mahama, revoking his appointment. That is proper, you get it, so that he will know. And the disabled physically challenged association have waded into it. And it doesn't send the right signals to all of us, especially now that we are embarking on steps to integrate them in wherever, you know, we find ourselves. If that guy has been in the system, he's not just been brought in, he's been working there. And he says he even wants to access his former office, no access, okay? Whatever the challenges are, he's also beginning to put certain one or two together to say people are deliberately frustrating him. They don't want him there because of his the knack for accountability. Okay, so he thinks those people want to have their way, and because he's in the system and he knows the system, you know, they fear he will be a stumbling block to the ambition. Okay, whatever it is, I plead that Executive Secretary to the President, Dr. Callistus Mahama, get into the matter to resolve it, or if His Excellency himself will come, just a letter from His Excellency's office, this can be stopped. And my brother, the Chief Executive, Basintale, should also pay attention to that to see if this can be resolved. Because it's not sending the right signal to the physically challenged world.
I thought that it would have been resolved by now. You know, there is one at GIPC where one person was appointed earlier, but another person was appointed and the earlier one was reassigned. So you understand the clarity there, that even though you were appointed earlier to GIPC, but you've been reassigned to something else.
That's all.
So I thought that would have been the same measure to deal with this. Because I saw the youth, one faction did some sort of presser, you know, which was out there, and they didn't understand what was happening. So let's see how this will go. But I'm sure this week they can resolve this.
It's all about clarity.
I raised it because of the person he is.
Oh, yes. It's quite important, you know.
Let's get into your thoughts, Timothy.
Let me say good morning to our viewers out there, and then to my brother. It's been some time before the election, so we have not met until this morning, to your good self.
So congratulations to you.
And you see, just to go on my reflection, it is important for us to note, like my brother said, that this blind young man has worked there before. He knows the terrain very well. But it becomes increasingly a problem when public officers try to prevent others from accessing a public facility. The facility is not yours. It's not a private property. It is for the people of this country. Taxpayers' monies were used to establish them. And they are appointed to serve the people of this country, not an individual. I was taken aback when the issue of the SIC woman, and the allegations that she locked her offices and so on. You remember Domlovo's case? When he came back, they had gone to lock the offices. There should be clarity. There should not be any ambiguity about who should occupy an office. If it is so, then, like he said, the secretary to the president can withdraw and appropriately appoint the fellow to assess the facility and so on. He equally talked about the fact that it is difficult for a fiscally challenged fellow to often assess these structures and so on. For me, I think it's about time we begin to put action to the law that requires that when you are fiscally challenged or you're in a public building, your accessibility to it should not be impeded by way of the structural development and so on and so. We have to do this thing to ensure that we are really bringing our fiscally challenged people on board. Looking at my reflection, yesterday I was just thinking about the fact that this government, or our government, has been in power for just about a month. If you look at the achievement that the president has done, the timelines put to it, I think if he continues this way and we all support him, we are going to move forward and to the expectation of everybody. For instance, he has constituted a committee to put in place modalities to review the educational system. He has also put up a committee to look at the economy, to set up and so on. He has reduced the Hajj fare from over 70 to 60, which is very significant. And if we all support our president and ensure that he's held to the promises he gave to this country, we'll have an economy better and a country better to stay. And for all of us to benefit from it, I would only appeal to our people in Parliament, both minority and even majority. I said that the power that is being exercised by the minority is an entrusted power, just like the power that is being exercised by the majority. It's an entrusted power given to them to exercise. You must exercise this power in humility and in respect to the people of this country and ensure that pertinent policy issues are raised and discussed. When policies are discussed vigorously, the best of it comes out for all of us. But when they go on to the vetting committee and their own conduct there reveals that we do not even know where we are going. It is too early for our brothers to continue to juxtapose issues by saying that, you see, you said we're a clearing agent. The Attorney General has filed nolli prosequi. So you're a chief clearing agent. It's too early. We're just in power for just a month. Beyond that, the power of nolli prosequi has been exercised. You have to land at this point for me. Yeah, has been exercised by various governments time and again and by Attorney General where they deem fit. So if it is done, it's not something that is novel or it hasn't been done before. Let us continue to build a country that is united, a country that will bring the power that the people entrusted in us to the best of their abilities, and they should enjoy from that power. All
right. So by your deeds, we shall know you. I'm waiting for Jifa Gomashi's clearance. Is it Jifa? No, Sedinam Tamak.
All right.
Sedinam Tamak.
Yeah, waiting for.
Well, gentlemen, let's get into the newspapers.
She will not be clear.
She's heading to America.
Okay. I have the Daily Graphic. Let's get straight into it. The major story, of course, made all airwaves over the weekend. That massive gold and cash bust. The national security seizing millions and suspects fleeing, and the manhunt for a man, the ringleader known as Alhaji. Now, don't travel first class. President Mahama instructs appointees. Attorney General terminates 3 more criminal cases. 2025 National Chocolate Week launched. And of course, Kwame Sefakai honored for contributing to pediatric care, timber industry, Lord's right choice for Forestry Commission CEO. I want to start from here, gentlemen, and I'll throw to you in a bit. National security made a massive bust, seizing a large and specified amount of US dollars and Ghana cedis, including counterfeits, hidden in 12 different 20-foot shipping containers. And we all followed that story over the weekend. How does this make you feel? Let me start with you, Mr. AC.
Yeah, it's good and bad.
Good and bad.
Yes, because it's good because we got the informants hinting the national security. Without the civilian security collaboration, we cannot expose some of these criminal conducts. People are involved in illegal money printing, counterfeit printing and all that. And if you don't get an insider to give a hint to the security forces, you cannot know I mean, if the narratives from your outfit shows there were charcoal somewhere, plywood, I mean, it's difficult for anyone to even suspect that something like that is going on.
Which makes me wonder, sorry to interject, how long has this been going on? How many of these counterfeit dollars and CDs have been infiltrated into our system already?
No, they do it, and the security agencies are always chasing after them. But it's good they've busted this group. I commend the national security outfits and then the individuals who give the information. Sweetie,
we saw Richard Jakpa there opening some containers in the footage.
They are in action. He's in action. You get it. So the other difficult part we pray doesn't happen is when it is done, the one who snitches on these people, sometimes the security people give the information to. You get it?
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's the challenging aspect.
Has any such thing happened?
No, sometimes it happens. You know, I cannot off the top of my head bring, but I'm a biased boy, so I'm talking about some of these with experience. Sometimes you see that they will come give you the intel and everything. You go and bust the people and go. Then later you see them chasing because an officer has hinted. It was Suti who told us about this. You get it? And we pray we don't get to that point if we want to succeed in busting and clamping on some of these illegal groups. And co. It's serious. It's a serious thing. Counterfeit. They found 50 CDs, 100 CD notes, a lot. And then even they suspect fake gold bars.
The gold bars in
there. Fake gold bars.
But again, what is the impact of this find on Ghana? Because this is out there in the international circles, right?
Yes.
The country that was begging for some $3 billion some few years ago is today reporting of dollars in 12 20-footer containers. That's huge.
Yeah, huge.
What really...
No, it sends the right signals to the international community that we are ready to fight some of these things and clamp down on them.
Really?
You know, we are not condoning them. They happen. Even in the United States, United Kingdom, there are such groups in there. But they make efforts to, clamp down on them. And so if these things come out that the nation is taking steps, especially the national security, to clamp down on them, it sends right signals. It means we are not condoning and allowing the infiltration of counterfeit monies into our economy.
It's just not the counterfeit I'm looking at.
Okay.
That
the activities going on.
Dollars.
Yes.
Because some of the dollars are not counterfeit per the story.
Yes.
Some of them are real cash.
Good.
So a country that was looking
They use that to bait, yes.
Okay.
Yes. The genuine ones are few, but they use it to bait. And then they use it to also do the counterfeiting. Yeah.
So I mean, where I'm coming from is that...
Oh, so hoarding.
Exactly.
You're hoarding.
That you didn't have the money. You were begging for some $3 billion.
Yes.
But here you are. Someone is keeping...
Yes, hoarding.
This amount of dollars in some container somewhere. Really?
No, money laundering, it's part. So it tells you there's money laundering going on. And so this person is taking two things into, we're stopping money laundering and then counterfeiting. So it's a good basket.
What do you think? What do you make of it?
When I first saw the story on social media, I thought it was fake story.
Hey.
So I didn't read it because sometimes some of these things are mind-boggling.
Yeah.
You begin to think, how can dollars, be they fake or even real, besides such quantum of money with gold bars? It's unimaginable. And what it does to the image of this country is that we stand to be blacklisted if we are seen to be a conduit through which fake currency and gold or minerals are passed through. Now, it brings to mind how effective our security system should work. And like my brother said, there's always a collaboration between even local and international security agencies to ensure that these people are busted. We have what we call the Financial Intelligence Committee. We have a lot of them within the system. How do we work? We've seen where in this country, where cocaine was busted, it turned to be konkonte. I am hoping that these currencies that were busted, proper and meticulous method should be used to store them for the appropriate thing. And you see, when you get a criminal gang that engages in drugs, gun running, what you do is that you do not just arrest those who were transporting the money. There's a whole link. You must trace up to the root cause and if you want to really nip it in the bud and arrest the kingpins behind these things. When you arrest the kingpin, then we have a way to go. But it's just like I've often talked about the fact that land guards. Why would you always arrest the land guard and leave the ones who employ the land guard?
Okay.
You understand? If you want to stop land guards, if you want to stop, arrest those who employ them. Sometimes they use the small boys to print the monies and to do that. But the big guys, look at the lifestyle people are living in this country. Sometimes people engage in very dangerous lifestyles. But you do not know the businesses they engage in. Assuming that this huge amounts of money were not busted, it filters out into the hands of all those who engage in this ring. And they come about even infiltrating our political settings. Sometimes these people have the audacity to sponsor parliamentary candidates or even party candidates in order to have power when the political parties, and they do it across. So when they do that, then they will have power to be able to do these things and so on.
Okay.
So it should not just be by what they did yesterday. It has been done. We would want to see a proper and forensic investigation into the matter to ensure that those behind the ring are nipped in the bud. For instance, in the US, sometimes when you are selling cocaine, they know you are selling cocaine, they will leave you. But they will trace you up to the point that this cocaine will be disposed of. Then they will keep doing that up to the time they will get the whole ring busted. Because if you arrest him selling cocaine, you haven't done anything. But who gave the cocaine to Tim? How can we do that and so on? And the world is against what do you call it? Counterfeit money laundering and so on. Looking at the way our economies have gone, looking at the way people are suffering, look at the way these things equally, in a way or the other, affect our inflations and the stability of our currency and so on. If these monies are not properly accounted for and invested into capital projects, what happens is at the end of the day, it goes into wrong hands, and you know when money gets to boy, they engage into
invest these monies, as in the money that was
yes, what I'm saying, yes,
from the bust, invest
because because sometimes when these monies, they can turn them around by engaging even in estate development, buying of expensive.
That's washing. They wash
the money. They'll turn it around in that way. Then it will then turn around to make the fellow like, oh, I'm a businessman. But what is my source of funding before I became business and so on?
Yeah, but you were saying that the state should invest the money.
No, not the state.
You're talking about how they wash the money.
Yes, we're talking about how to wash them. At the end of the day, you see them in a very copious lifestyles that do not measure their investments. So it's a good bus. Let's congratulate all those involved. Let's ensure that the identities, like he said, of those who leak the information are not dangerously exposed. Because there are still people who are out there, who are those, because it's a ring, who are those who leak the information and so on, and it can be a very dangerous thing.
Quick thoughts
I want us to look at the news angle of, or how the news got to the public.
Right.
You just busted the items. We understand that the people are even on the run, and they put out a name, one Al-Haji. There are so many Al-Hajis. Really, is that how our security should be approaching these issues? In terms of making a bust, and like you say, following the trail to get to the point where you know that you have every actor, in the action. How much the security go about this? Such that because this, you put the people who are behind this on alert, and they probably would have been.
I think the security, they have their own way of going about this.
Okay.
But you see, these days, everybody is a journalist. Whatever that you are doing at any time, they can capture it and put there. And when it happens, you are compelled as a security to come and then explain things in order not to create doubts, in order not to create an issue of you are covering up or something of that sort. So sometimes it is not deliberate, and I know by their profession, they should know that before news items of this nature comes out, they would have done their background check and ensure that what they are putting out there is not injurious to the public, and it will not negatively affect further investigations into the bust and so on.
Okay.
So I do not know how the information was leaked to the public, but be that as it may, we are discussing, and they should also take a cue from it, and they know what these things meant when they are quickly leaked into the public. Sometimes our discussions can obfuscate issues, and they can it can lead to distortion of information. And the fact that people are hiding somewhere, they need to bust them. The information can let the people take a cover. So for me, I think that it's early days, yes. Let's see whether, when proper forensic investigation is done, we'll get the details and the facts surrounding this. But I agree with you that the way the news was leaked out there can be dangerous too.
We have to move on to other
But before you go, I think
George,
sometimes it's deliberate. Could you, people want to be seen. When Sweetie said, you saw a certain individual character in there working. You get it, you know, Japa Heko, Bavlo Latte in action. Sometimes it's deliberate for the media. No, I'm saying yes. So sometimes they themselves give out the hint to the media so that it will be captured, put out there that they're working. But I agree with Vulnerable that, you know, sometimes, as you said, we are trailing to get the kingpins, you get it. And so if you do this, you think Alaji will be sitting there for you to help. You get it. It's because it's now public. People know where the whole incident happened. And then they know, some people within the area know who the Alaji is. Yeah. They do, yeah.
So is that not the strategy, though? The way when the police are approaching someone they're going to, you know, catch or apprehend, they turn on the siren. So it causes you to make a mistake, and then they can catch you. If they hadn't made this a public affair, how would the people who are involved know that something like this had happened? They would have secretly found their way out, but now everyone is on alert.
And they are gone. You don't get. If they've not gotten anybody,
right?
Yeah.
So
man had to allow which allow you should have gotten a key person. Then you go into the media and you show him that.
I think it's preemptive that they cause this confusion.
But sometimes deliberate.
Well,
as you said, sometimes private journalists.
We hope they know what they're doing.
Yes,
because the story says 2 containers are already on the loose.
Yes.
How do you identify it? If I see there are so many containers, especially if you are in Western region. There are so many containers passing by you every time, and even in Taiwan. So how do you locate that this is the container? But I hope they know what they are doing.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah. They are
so two last stories from the Daily Guide and Daily Graphic, and then we come to your papers. Attorney General terminates 3 more criminal cases. I think this brings the total 6 people that he's cleared since he assumed office. The Attorney General, and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, has terminated 3 more criminal cases initiated by the previous administration. Notable persons who were on trial and can now heave a sigh of relief as a result of the AG's action include former Director General of Social Security and National Insurance Trust, Dr. Ernest Thompson, who was accused together with 3 others for causing financial loss to the state. We know the story. Other beneficiaries, former Water and Works and Housing, Collins Dawuda, and his successor, Dr. Kwekwa Ajiman-Mensah. But the current people who have been, the current action by the AG brings to the total, 6 terminated cases so far. And I'm trying to get the names of the people. We have Dr. Johnson Esiama, Oliver Bakavomawo, Dr. Ernest Thompson, Collins Dawuda, and so on and so forth. And the last story I want to bring to your attention before we get into other papers: don't travel first class. President Mahama instructs appointees. Now, President John Dramani Mahama has instructed newly appointed ministers of state not to travel first class for official duties outside the country to help cut down the public expenditure and promote modest leadership. I'll come to you in a bit. Let me just put the headlines at the back page. Noguchi commissions equipment to boost cell research, and many people living with glaucoma unaware of their condition in this country. Gentlemen, AG clearing a total of 6 criminal cases, and President John Dramani Mahama's directive to his ministers not to travel first class. Timothy, what are your thoughts on this? Let's make it brief because we have a lot of papers today.
Very brief. The issue of the AG clearing those who were standing on trial, in legal parlance they call it nolli prosequi. First of all, rightly so, and I agree with the AG, because there's difference between prosecution and persecution. If any AG takes over office and you find out that cases that have been brought before the judiciary about former public officers, it's rather more persecution than prosecution, and it does not follow procedural actions, then the other AG has no case done to terminate it. First and foremost, it must be told that this is not the first time an AG has terminated cases.
No, yeah.
It has been done, and it will continue to be done unless the law that allows the AG to terminate cases changes as it is now. They would always do it when they assess the case and see whether they are making a headway or not. If the AG had a case, that's the former Attorney General had a case, you cannot use 8 years or 7 years prosecuting one case and you cannot jail the fellow. In the case of the current finance minister, Atuforson, we heard the Japas tape that has even been admitted in court as evidence, showing that the AG was asking Japa to procure a fake health report and be brought there so that the case can be done in their way, because the AG himself said that he was under pressure by the president and other actors of government to ensure that Atuforson goes to jail. So they were not prosecuting Atuforson for the alleged crimes that they stated there, but underneath that was a subterranean maneuver to ensure that the guy is pushed to jail. When you come in as an AG, and remember it cost the state to prosecute these people and so on. So for me, I think that this current AG did the right thing. And when you look at the other cases and so on, they follow the same pattern, where in this country, when Jachi Kwesi was made to be going to court, is it daily, to go to the court on daily basis. But we have seen serious cases that they do not even go to court and so on. Be that as it may, I think that the current Attorney General has the capacity and has the legal background and all what it takes to review the current cases and ensure. Look at the case of Paul, what do you call it, Afoko, Gregory Afoko. Gregory Afoko, the court even gave Gregory Afoko bail. And for 8 years now, this guy has been incarcerated up to today. For what reason? Who benefits from that? The cost to the state. Who benefits from, if my brother or I have been incarcerated?
Is it the case that he met the bail terms and was...
He met. What were the bail terms?
Okay.
He met. The court severally, the one that argued the case the first round, it was thrown out, the second one, so on. And even the case of the judiciary granting him bail, the state withheld his bail and continued to incarcerate him.
Is he one of those released?
No, but I believe that he will be released. No, I believe that he will be released. I'm only just giving you a number of cases that the state cannot continue to withhold those people in custody and then their rights are being abused. That's what I want to tell. I'm just citing this one to add to the current cases where the Attorney General felt that they've not got enough evidence to continue to prosecute them. And look, while the period of the prosecution, these people have suffered already damages and so on. Their freedom of movement, their personal business and so on has been brought to a halt because an Attorney General is determined to push them. And I believe that for 8 years on one case, if you have facts and evidence, you should be able to prosecute them.
Well, you know, we spoke to the former Deputy Attorney General, Dominic Alfred Tia.
Yeah.
And he was telling us that the reason they haven't acquitted or prosecuted the many cases that, you know, is of national interest to the Ghanaian is that they don't have enough evidence. And we had this conversation about how maybe the Attorney General's office can have their own investigators and so on and so forth. I'm just trying to draw out the point that if, opposition decides to use this against the ruling government, it's theirs to use because you just came into office and you've already cleared 6 people. It is theirs to use against the ruling NDC government. So let's just see how all this plays
but
out.
if the Atua, is that Atua?
Tia
said that they haven't got enough evidence. And that is how criminal prosecutions are. You know, in criminal prosecution, the least doubt, you have said you are let to go. So before even Attorney General goes to court, he would have done all his investigations, gather enough facts to be able to win the case at the end of the day. No Attorney General goes to court and comes out empty-handed. He should go in and come out with results to satisfy the people of this
country. Brief comments on President Directive. Then I'll
the brief comment is simple. Look, it's about time we begin to reduce executive expenditure. The fact that even John Dramani Mahama reduced the ministers from cabinet from 30 to 23 alone saved this country billions of Ghana cedis and so on. I saw a Joy report about the total envelope of money we spend on the executive. It's 84 billion. So when we took over governance at the time the economy is seriously in tatters, at the time that almost every institution that we took over is owing billions. As a result, you don't continue to hemorrhage the what you call the debt, what you do is to reduce them, and not just the first class, but essential travels. So what the president is saying is that if you don't have any business going on, or if your business, you go and it doesn't bring in investment, don't go, sit here and then we'll do the work together. That is why we've set up the economic forum that will be discussing the whole issue.
Okay.
But I think it's a good thing.
Okay, Judge IEC.
Yeah, thank you. Oral Operation Recover All Loots. Oral Operation Release All Looters is now what is going on.
That's not oral.
But that's oral. I mean,
Operation Release All Looters.
But George, if they were looters, why did your government fail to prosecute them?
No, prosecution. Look. It goes on. We know that the wheel of justice, they say, grinds slowly.
Yes.
You get it. It's definitely going to get an end. I know cases that has been prosecuted, land cases and others, over 20 years. And it's still going on. So you don't just conclude that, no. Okay? That is it. And as time goes on, prosecution continues. New evidences are gathered and brought to the trial. It's possible. You don't say you must have all the evidence hands-on before, It's good. It makes your case a solid case. But as you go on with the prosecutions, new evidence can come out. You get it? And then can direct the trajectory of the prosecution process. So that is what it is. And I don't understand, Kojo, how anybody can convince me that Saglame is not worth prosecution. Okay? Or prosecuting. Because the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana approved $200 million for the execution of 5,000 housing units. You go and build 1,506, and then it's left with $2 million. And you tell me that is value for money? Parliament, experts and co made this thing and sent to Parliament. Parliament approved affordable housing. One is supposed to cost around $40,000. But by what they have done, it's costing us $187,000 or more. Is that affordable? Okay? Parliament approved that. You are telling me that the ex post facto rationalization of we will sell this and then we'll take the money and then, no, you are not selling and people are not paying upfront. It's over a period.
But George,
you get it? So please,
the question
that is something that the prosecution is worth it.
With all these evidence you speak about,
yes,
why couldn't you do it within 8 years? It's still
no. So it's ongoing. Prosecution is ongoing. Okay? No, the judges, there are many instances for maybe transfer of a judge, whatever, delay. There are a lot of processes that delay trials. So that is a matter that, so people, I've heard somebody say the Attorney General must tell us the basis for the nolle prosequi. You get it? So he knows why. But it's not far-fetched. It's a political decision, okay? Because these individuals are politicians. That's why I asked my brother Honorable if Gregory Afoko is part of those who have been asked to go, okay? And he said no. So it's not part of it. It's just the politicians that they feel, hey, let's, and it's that's.
But George, the nolle prosequi, although it terminates the proceeding of the case, it doesn't outrightly acquit the persons involved, those accused.
Yes.
New evidence comes to light, they can call back the case anytime.
But until then,
how is that politics?
Then you are gone. Until then, you're free. Until then, you're safe. You get it. So that is the issue. But I think let's get the basis for the nolle prosequi so that people will not read that it's a political something operation, release or looters. Okay? So
beyond
that. You let me finish. So that is it. So let's get the basis.
Okay.
Dominic Aini is one of my favorite politicians. He's a very brilliant, sharp individual. So I was happy when he was appointed the Attorney General, Minister of Justice. So I don't think he's there just to wash the NDC. And
on the President's directive.
Yeah, first class, business class. You didn't touch business class, Business class is also as comfortable, almost as comfortable.
Why, you want our ministers to fly economy? You want our ministers to fly economy?
Economy there, we all day there.
You were traveling.
No. What's the problem? You and Misty.
No, it's not about.
It's a good call, sweetie.
Yeah.
It's a good call, but will it be heeded, Kojo? It's you. Multimedia and your partners, you can push to see whether it's actually being enforced stricto sensu. You get it? That is important. But the call is very important. When we're in government, the president called that travels be stopped for some time and all that. You get it. Then later we got that, you know, before you travel, you clear it with the chief of staff.
And then the private jets came in.
Yeah, the private jet came in and all. So let's see. It's a good call. Let's see whether it's going to be enforced to the benefit of the Ghanaian. But as he said, yes, cutting down from 30 ministries to 23 is a good one for the optics. Is a good thing. It says that, you know, I have said somewhere, I think on this platform, that so far the picture the president is giving looks encouraging. You get it. So we need to support him, to encourage him to continue to do that. We are yet to get to the cracks of the business of governance. Okay? The first budget will come maybe next month, and then we take it. Then that's where we are going to be. You see, this is my second Bible, you know.
Grace, let's do your papers now.
So it's a good call.
All right, all right.
Let's do
the government on
yes.
the
All right.
Let's do the news center. And I have a story. There's a story in here that is so interesting. After Infrastructure Fund target 100 million Africans to pay $1 a day. Now, the Africa Prosperity Network, APN, and the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat have unveiled an ambitious infrastructure compact aimed at mobilizing African resources to finance the continent's economic integration. A key feature of this initiative is a special infrastructure fund targeting 100 million Africans to contribute as little as $1 per day, which will be used to finance major infrastructure projects across the continent.
You're too soon.
Yes.
Good vision.
Yes.
Good
So
vision.
let's look at it.
Yes.
How can we operationalize that? How can we make the implementation effective?
100 million Africans so it means there ought to be proper structural assessment of individuals or businesses targeted, and then which can make us achieve this. On the face is a good call, which means we are looking at raking in 100 million CDs, dollars a day. Dollars a day for after. Yeah. It's a good thing, but how are we going to achieve it? That's why I said there should be a targeted group of businesses, and then how, you know. So the executive secretary must tell us the way he's going to do that to achieve this objective. It's a very, very laudable objective, but how do we get it?
Can't it be voluntary? Like we're all here. All of us can contribute for $1 a day. So that's $4 gone.
You and who?
A day?
You
30 days means $30?
Yes. Break it down, you can do it.
No, but you have to know that that's chairman speaking. So yeah.
Oh, no. No. But my point is that,
yes.
See, I've always said that.
But there should be
challenges.
That interest people whose operations have some interest within the AFTA regime. You get it. That is very important.
No, but infrastructure, all of us benefit from it.
Yes,
for example, the road they are doing from here to Winneba. When it's done, all of us will benefit from it.
It's ECOWAS.
So paying $1 a day to contribute to that, like I've said, challenges of this country can be solved when all of us come together to say, can we do this? Because $1 a day is no money. But no. $1 a day.
By 100 million people means
$1 a day. Yes. But when you have 100 or say 10 million Ghanaians paying one cedi a day, that's 10 million every single day.
Yes.
Imagine what we can do if we take that particular.
We are waiting for the big push by the government. 10 billion.
That could even be a strategy to help us pay off our debts. If you say, open it up and say, all the rich people, donate what you can. Yeah. You know, you'll be surprised the number of people who, for the love of this country, would
do that.
Pour in some resources for us to clear our debts.
I'm sure you.
So this government should take a cue from this. This is something you can try.
A levy sort of.
Well, from the way it is.
That's why I was trying to box it into those within the arena. So
okay. So I'm sure as we go on, but Honorable, what should happen for you to say you are agreeing to pay $1 a day?
You see, I think that Africa, we are becoming too lazy in terms of mobilizing resources that we have already to put into infrastructure. And this infrastructure can pay itself off, whether 100 billion, 1 trillion. Look, the illicit money outflows from this part of the world into the European countries and in the US and the Western world. It's in trillions of dollars. Illicit money outflow. That it goes through our own governments. These Europeans use their big influence on Africa, including their businesses, as conduits that this money goes out there. Beyond that, it says that As an African, we cannot continue to rely on foreign aid and external borrowing. What are you talking about? We will say these things, action speaks louder than words. We keep saying these things, and yet we are borrowing. Yeah. And even the irony is that when you borrow, you do not put the money into where you went and borrowed from. If we borrow, like we're talking about the road can pay itself off. If this infrastructure, there's several ways for which African can pull their resources together and then mobilize, build the infrastructure, and then we can pay Rob, because the infrastructure will pay. Assuming that we construct a road or rail across the whole of Africa, I can bet you that we can mobilize that money. We shouldn't put further burdens on our people, especially where most of the economies and the lifestyles of our people are not doing. $1 is big money. What is is it the daily wage? How much is our daily wage? It's a little above $1 or so, or less than $2. You understand? So for me, the vulnerability of our people is still high. And we continue to talk about these things as if we are...
Okay, so our daily wage is 14.88 per day.
Yes.
That's less than $1.
Almost
less than $1. So you cannot continue to do like that. So for me, I think that the people of Africa have suffered enough. The political class in this part of the world have rather benefited from the powers that we've entrusted to our political leadership than to our people. They should begin to sacrifice more. And it's difficult to tell people to contribute $1. Sometimes not because they don't have. They do not even see why they have to. That's why when you impose taxes on people, people say, look, we are ready to pay the taxes, but we don't see what our monies have been used for over the years. We'll continue to have poor road networks. Even the, what do you call it, the supply of our telecoms and so on. There are some areas in Ghana today that you cannot get network. And it even fluctuates and so on. Africa would want to see a centralized system of network that you can get to 24 hours. Even that alone can create jobs. That alone can create jobs. Our health systems are being destroyed. Our energy sector. Why would Africa be having energy challenges as we speak now? Ghana is among, I think, the few countries that have had a lot of penetration of our energy into other, over 80% or so. Most African countries are still challenging with this thing. Look at
You're making really good points, but we have just about 5 minutes to go. So let's look at some of
the areas left are hard to reach areas.
Right.
But we can, even with technology, we can reach them. Looking at the nature of our continent and so on. Look at our forest that is being destroyed, our minerals.
So we've not read out.
Exactly what I'm saying.
So for me, I think
some headlines for me, or
we shouldn't go this way. We won't get the target if we want to go this way.
All right.
But they can pull their resources together and then...
Well, from just Hajj legacy debt reduced from $7.8 million in 2016 to $4.8 million. That's according to Banda. Upon Nkrumah calls for Independent Labour Statistics Office. Clarion called to save actor Mauli Semevo after severe fire burns.
Yeah,
and,
that's a sad one.
Yeah, massive shake-up at HIT NIB, the National Investigation Bureau.
Okay, great. George, let's look at your papers.
The NIB here, I think, is it a National Investment Bank?
Right? No, National Investigation
Bureau.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. My paper, we inherited $7.8 million debt in 2017. Former Hajj Board replies Collins Dowder. Minority rejects Buyers Bedra Committee. This morning I heard your news network saying whether it's going to, the minority will appear or we will not appear. A Blackwa opens the Pandora's box, invites probe into his Airport Hills residence. Ex-boss MD defends Gold for Oil program. I will fight for my precious daughter, Karen Baba assets. That's the issue. So the Labour, this thing, and let's go to the second one. We have, that is the new trust. The first one was the custodian.
Yes.
Yeah, the new trust. KMA has neither increased daily market tolls nor embarked on decongestion exercise. Presiding member says record straight. Former Abrim Assembly member commends Mahama for reduction of hash fee. Prioritize quality healthcare delivery. Pranghini urges President Mahama. Ebenage Herbal Production and Consult donates 30,000 cedis to support Hill Komfo Anochi project as founder comments Otumfuo. Let's all give Mahama's government the needed support to succeed. Apostle Akabraima urges Ghanaians.
We can give you 1 minute to reflect on one story there.
Yeah, the Hajj issue. My good friend, Honorable Abdullah Banda, who was the immediate past Hajj board chairman, is saying, you know, I think Collins Dawda raised the issue of the debts they inherited.
Yeah.
He came to set the record straight. In our part of the world and the politics we play, if you don't do that, you pay the price for it. So he said, oh, you left us $7.8 million, and we managed to, you know, get it down to 4.8 million. So that is their issue. And I understand some of the debts that come about because people pay and then they are not able to embark on the Hajj.
Because my question in my mind is, how do we accrue 7-point-something million in debt for, you know, just a pilgrimage to...
No, look, let's be blunt. There's the politics of it.
Right.
There's the politics of this Hajj issue, both of us, both MPP and DC. There are some government must come to subsidize and all that. Look, I understand the president has reduced it from 75 to... The difference, the variance, is going to be paid for by the state. Okay, because that is the cost. So it's subsidy the president has brought in.
Yeah.
So don't think the difference between 75 and 62 is just we can wish it away. No, there's a cost. The state will pay for it.
Okay.
And so if the government doesn't release the money, then the debt is going to pile up. That is what it is.
This is something we should really discuss critically.
So yes, whether we are sponsoring it or we are allowing them to pay for it.
Let's get into the headlines and then we can
but I think
wrap
they've
up.
answered that we're not using the state's money.
They'll say that. Let's get into the details.
The issue is that
when the audits come.
I said the budget will come in
March.
We'll see whether it is there. But we've been told that they are not going to use state funds. Be that as it may, subsidies are not bad. And when subsidies are given to a taxpayer, it's not anything bad. It is what the subsidy is meant for. Whether it is very important to give the subsidy for such
it is important.
Then we know.
But are we going to release the money to make up
for it? So the Ghanaian publisher, we have in it, Mahama praised for Engineer Latte, Engineer Kenzo appointment. African targets $1 a day fund to quicken after integration. NDC left behind, I think he just read, NDC left behind $7.8 million debt Hajj for former dashboard clear the air. My daughter is the apple of my eye, Baba Sam declares. The timber industry applauds Mahama's pick for Forestry Commission. Then we have the Daily Democrat. Big Ado's brother in illegal galamsey scandal. Fear grips MPP elements at Bank of Ghana as Dr. Siama returns.
Is this paper still alive?
Honorable Dr. Zenato A. Rollins and the controversial remarks. Then we have SIC Life Staff welcomes new MD. Just a quick one on fear grips Bank of Ghana.
He's one of those...
but you know the charges put against this man is just not proper. But let's leave that another day. You see, why would fear grip them? Are you not Ghanaians? Haven't you been employed by Ghanaians? Are your emoluments and salaries not paid on the taxpayers' money? It is what you use your position to do that. Is that fear that is gripping them. It is not because Dr. Siama has returned and those. No, I don't think that the workers at Bank of Ghana are all culpable in terms of anything, if there's any, through how he was removed and he's back. Maybe those decisions were taken by bigger people than them. But you see, the smaller workers who are always under the ministries and all government institutions, it's your conduct. It's what you do with the resources and the position given to you that makes them be afraid. There are a lot of civil servants and public servants who continue to work under any government, be it XYZ, and they'll continue to work. The fear will come in when you know that what you were doing when so-called your party was in power, and then there's a change of government, obviously be afraid. If not, if you work as a Ghanaian,
are you
put
sure
up your best.
That's the only source of fear?
That is the only source. Look, I've told people that, look, I see or myself can be appointed as a judge. It is my conduct at the bench that will determine whether I'm an NDC or I'm an MPP.
It doesn't even matter. In the U.S., you see, have Republicans who are there.
You can appoint enough. Then this is an NDC judge.
Gentlemen, that's our time for the news segment. Someone could you raise quick thoughts before we go? Should we go?
Well, yeah.
Right. Okay, folks, thank you so much for joining us. Those who joined the conversation, we had George IC, former director.
Before you go,
yes,
I had a certain chief, I won't mention names, asking the speaker to identify who said something about.
Yes, Dr. Zaneto.
What would they do with it?
Well, the person has to be punished. He can't just make such utterances.
Because they're falsely accusing one of my finest MPs.
A fine MP as that.
No, but they can go
those who join the conversation, come down, gentlemen. Please mute them. George IC, former director of communications at NADMO, and Timothy Awuntrin is former member of parliament for Bilsa North, and they join us in the studio for the news review segment. But do stay, because sports comes up next, anchored by Muftau Nabila Abdullahi.